Before a crowd of thousands of supporters at the Bank of Oklahoma Center in Tulsa, President Donald Trump acknowledged the increasing number of coronavirus cases in the country.
When you do testing to that extent, you're going to find more people, you're going to find more cases.
The president's desire to get the country opened back up after months of restrictions was met with enthusiastic support by those attending his rally.
Let's open the schools, please. Open.
As health officials continue to monitor the growing number of COVID-19 infections, gatherings and protests against racial discrimination and police brutality continue across the country, with demonstrators removing statues, including those honoring Confederate leaders from the U.S. Civil War. U.S. Senator from South Carolina, Republican Tim Scott, who is working to draft police reform legislation, says more funding to law enforcement agencies, not less, is needed at the federal level.
If you want officers to be trained effectively, you have to give them the tools called training to get there. That requires more resources. We know that if you want more information on the federal level, that requires more resources for record keeping.
Scott also says federal funding would ensure law enforcement agencies follow the legislation.
It is important for us to use the resources that we provide to law enforcement in a way to get them to compel them towards the direction that we think is in the best interest of the nation, of the communities that they serve, and frankly, of the officers themselves.
As lawmakers continue to work to reform law enforcement practices both political parties can agree on, it comes at a time when much of Washington is digesting the revelations in former National Security Advisor John Bolton's book, The Room Where It Happened, offering an insider look at the Trump administration. The book is an unflattering portrayal of President Trump's leadership.
But I think that that lack of touch, that lack of sensibility and judgment that John Bolton talks about, you can see in his handling of the public protests after George Floyd's murder 3 weeks ago.
White House advisor Peter Navarro dismisses many of the accusations Bolton makes in his book.
He got fired because he did not obey the chain of command, because his views were totally out of sync with President Donald J. Trump with respect to how to handle international affairs. And he's basically breaking all manner of tradition in terms of issuing a book at this stage. And he's going to make a bunch of money.
The Department of Justice tried to block the release of Bolton's book over concerns it contained classified information. But a federal judge ruled Saturday the publication's release could move forward. Kane Fairbaugh, VOA News.